What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. Not sure if you've noticed, but my husband crafted a new background. He got some lights and he just kind of put them around our little Japanese screen back there, and voila, I'm glowing. As I should, because we all know I'm an angel. We are here just a couple days after my husband's birthday and a couple days before mine. So it's been a nice little roller coaster of, like, you know, work, party, get lit, recover, work. And now we're about to party, get lit, recover. And then we'll be good for like a few months until like one of our friends has a birthday or whatever. It's a vicious roller coaster. Who needs Disneyland, am I right? Who's in? We are here to watch Dead Body Hijinks Part 2 from Sam O'Nella Academy. Some of you guys might remember a long time ago when Chavez and I watched the first part of this. I'm gonna have to see if I can find that video somewhere and put it in the description down below. But if not, just know that it exists and it was great. So we are here now to enjoy the second part. I'm going to attempt to use my husband's earbuds. For whatever reason, they just refuse to stay in my ear. They just fall out perpetually. And like, I kind of get why, because of like my piercings or whatever, but I also just feel like, I don't know, like this piercing's not even in right now. Like the one that's on the inside of this ear. Like it's not even in right now, so I don't understand why it's not working. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey kids, time to talk about more cases of stiff lifting from the days of yore. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, go check it out. Or don't. I'm a YouTuber, not a cop, unfortunately.
But Police Academy application. Samuel Maverick Renegade O'Nella. Experience Call of Duty. Oh, World at War through Black Ops 4. That's extensive. Chasing squirrels away from the bird feeder, ongoing. Driving car with dog in passenger seat. It's a Yorkie, but it still counts. One time I tried on a bulletproof vest. It was cool. And licking 9-volt batteries to simulate repeated tasing. I feel like that is a valid application. Can't understand why it was denied.
This first tale doesn't feature an entire dead body, but I still found it interesting enough to talk about. So One day in 2012, a priest was riding a train out of Italy when his bag got stolen by a trio of thieves. Inside the bag was whatever normal personal possessions the guy had.
I like that he put AirPods. Like, the priest was rocking his AirPods, Sam.
Own, as well as a small vial containing the blood of none other than Pope John Paul II.
Bitch.
So this begs the question, why did the priest have Pope blood in his bag? Well, an important way that the Catholic Church honors saints and other venerated individuals is the keeping of relics. These relics are ranked in terms of how close they were to the person at hand. You got something that's tangentially related to a saint in any way, that's a third-class relic. If it's a personal possession of a saint, it's second class.
From
and as for
Slipknot.
First-class relics, those typically consist of literal
Chamber
body parts and or
okay.
fluids of a holy figure. Now for you youngsters out there, in 1981 the Pope got shot 4 times by some fascist having a bad day. People were like, holy shit, it's a popicide. Is that even a word?
Popicide.
No, I'm okay. Oh. Say, who left all this first-class relic lying around?
Disgusting.
So to this day, there remain 3 objects containing the fine-aged popey juice spilled that fateful afternoon.
That's
the
really
vial
gross.
was found a few hours later by police among the reeds and grass.
Like, cool for y'all, but also gross.
Near the station, which basically means the thieves took one look at it and were like, blood? I already make this myself. Lame. And tossed it out without a second thought. Here's the thing though, that's not the only instance of old JP2 getting blood napped. In 2014, a similar relic was yoinked from the church of San Pietro della Ienca in Italy alongside a crucifix.
Now, I'm no Italian, but I just feel like Sam O'Nella is nailing this Italian accent, and I support him. There's no Italian skitting yet, but I don't know. Sam O'Nella might inspire me to develop one.
The fact that these were the only items taken led to two prevailing theories. Some people thought that, since John Paul II wasn't technically a saint yet, the relic's value would go way up once the man was actually canonized, so the thieves decided to take it now and resell it later. The other theory was way more popular with the media. After all, what use does Pope blood have other than satanic rituals?
Oh, okay.
This story naturally got a lot of press, and the whole world just kind of assumed that Lucifer himself was set to return any day now. Eventually, the thieves confessed, so authorities came to the rehab facility they were staying at. They returned the cross, but when questioned about the relic, they were like, wait, what? Pope blood? Satan? Do you guys need to check in here too? Eventually, it was found in a rubbish bin on the facility ground.
I get a finder's fee, a referral, if you will, okay? 10% of the commission if you guys also, you know, grab a bed in here.
Which means, once again, it was just casually tossed out as nonsense. Do you ever throw out Pope blood?
And that's what's like crazy to me, is like you didn't see this vial of blood and think it might hold some kind of significance to somebody? Like you just immediately jumped to tossing it out? Like, I don't know if I'm normal or abnormal for thinking that like you should maybe investigate further into where this vial of blood came from.
Apparently, multiple people have done that on separate occasions just in the past 7 years. It doesn't end there, of course. In 2016, this happened a third time when a piece of cloth with John Paul fluid on it was taken from Cologne Cathedral. I can't for the life of me find a follow-up to this story, which leads me to believe that they're just like, fuck it, Pope blood's more trouble than it's worth at this point. But if you guys can find some conclusion to where it ended up, let me know below. Now, our next story begins with a man named Carl Tanzler, a German-born radiology technologist in early 20th century Florida. He looked kind
I'm pretty sure I saw part of this in the salmonella out of context thing, so if you guys haven't watched that, strap in. It's about to get freaky deaky. Why did I say that? I'm not gonna edit that out because I deserve to sit in my shame.
of like Sigmund Freud, except even more evil looking. On the inside, he was a pretty normal dude, other than the fact that he claimed to have visions throughout his life of some mysterious dark-haired girl. Anyway, in 1930, while working at the Marine Hospital in Key West, he met a young woman by the name of Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos, called Elena for short. And he said, he met a young woman by the name of Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos.
Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos. See, he is nailing it! Nailing it! Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos. Pretty name.
Called Elena for short. And he said, oh my god, that's the girl from the visions I've been having. Yeah, wait, what? We were meant to meet today. We must be soulmates. What? Don't you have like a wife and 2 kids? Destiny.
Hold on. This man has, first of all, this is a terrifying picture of this girl. Also, if you have a wife and kids, right, but you've been seeing this bitch in your visions, why did you marry your wife if you knew you wasn't supposed to be with her because you're supposed to be with this bitch in your visions? Just wait on that bitch. If you're the kind of person that has visions, then you gotta be the kind of person that waits until the stuff that happens in those visions comes true. Like, you can't have visions but then also live your own life. That's not how that works. The visions run your life now. Come on, man.
Hoyos was soon diagnosed with tuberculosis, which was considered fatal at the time, so naturally Carl decided to handle her treatment, going as far as convincing her family to let him visit their home every day.
Isn't he just a radiologist,
except he was a radiologist, so even if there were reliable means to treat tuberculosis at the time, he definitely didn't have the credentials to do so. But whatever, this is the past we're talking about after all. That place was a shit show from start to finish. I'm not about to get on somebody's case for a little clerical error. In addition to whatever salves and tinctures and such doctors gave to people back then, Tanzler showered her with gifts of clothes and jewelry. I know he meant well, but if I was bedridden with a terminal illness, I'd just be insulted. Like, wow, thanks, can't wait to show off this little number out on the town. Anyway, eventually, Tanzler found that the time had come to reveal his true feelings. Ew. Elena, there's something I must confess. I'm deeply in love with you. Ugh. I'm so glad you feel the same. Hoyos inevitably succumbed to the disease, leaving Tanzler heartbroken. He just wasn't ready to part ways with his pestilence-riddled sweetheart, so he asked the family's permission to commission an above-ground mausoleum for their daughter. And since this was the early 20th century, they said, What a sweet, selfless man. I'm sure he'd never do this just so he could commit crimes against nature.
Of course
And he was
not.
like, oh
Why
yeah,
would
by
he?
the way, could I have some of her hair too? Sure, kind stranger. Here's a bag of her hair we just had lying around for some fucking
Why did
reason.
they have her
Again,
hair lying
no red
around?
flags here. He went to visit her dwelling nearly every night for 2 years. Then finally one day he said, you know what, kid? You're alright. Say, how's about we ditch this musty old mausoleum and go back to my place? I'll take that as a yes. So we took her home in a little red toy wagon, which is ridiculous. It makes me picture him skipping around, whistling a merry tune. Hey, neighbor. Now here's a riddle for all you
That's
intellectuals out there. What do a dead body and a used PT Cruiser have in common? Sure, they both taste terrible, and you never want to be seen in public with one. Most importantly, though, they're a depreciating asset. But hey, that didn't stop old Gnarly Carly from sprucing her up any way he could, wiring her bones back together with coat hangers, replacing her skin with wax and silk, making a wig out of that bag of hair from earlier,
What?
and soaking the body in massive amounts of perfume and disinfectants for obvious reasons. He claimed to have been instructed to do all this by Elena's spirit,
What?
which he would apparently talk to frequently.
What?
He also did, you know, that thing eccentric loners do with dead ladies in their house.
That's
but we
awful.
won't talk about
I don't
that.
want
This
to
went
talk
on for
about
7
that,
years.
please.
7 hot and
7!
humid Florida years. Until 1940 when Elena's sister saw him dancing with some lady through the curtains. She's like, aw, how cute. I'm glad that old bag of lentils has finally found love. Walks in, comes to find out it's her fucking dead sister. So the cops come, but there isn't any conclusive evidence of any flirting and philandering with the body. So the only crime Carl could have been charged with was grave robbing.
Right.
Except the statute of limitations was already up by the time he was found out, so they just took the body, tipped their hats, and went on their merry way. Tanzler still missed Elena dearly, but since he couldn't have her cadaver, he crafted a crude homemade effigy of the lady, which he lived with for the rest of his life. Here's the part that really gets me, though.
This is
He apparently
upsetting.
went back to live with his estranged wife once the jig was up. Just like, hey babe, I know we haven't talked since the whole
Bitch.
corpse thing, but I've been having trouble making rent. Do you think I could come crash for a while? Sure, come right in. I'll take...
Bitch. Why would you let this man back in your house? He's... I don't want to say crazy because that is an ableist term, but homie has a couple screws loose.
Your coats. Would you and the demented life-size replica of your long-dead lover that you left me for like a cup of tea?
No.
I'd like one. None for her, though. It goes right through her. Of course, I'm making all this out to be a horrifying thing for the goofs and gaffs of it, but at the time, a lot of people read the news stories about Tanzler, and many actually sympathized with the man. They saw him as the distraught, hapless romantic that he saw himself as.
What?
You know why they had that compassion? Because they listened. Say, what would the world look like if we...
No. No. That's not cute. That's not romantic. That's gross. I would just like to state here and now that I do not support necrophilia. I'm not down with the shits. Like, nah, bro. Let that shit go. Join her in heaven. Okay. That was upsetting. That was incredibly upsetting. There's so much history to do with dead bodies that is just so disturbing. I don't know what it is about dead bodies that are dead bodies. I don't know what it is about dead bodies that are so appealing to some people, but y'all need to stop. You nasties. Anywhoozin, that is all from moi. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any reaction suggestions or requests, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, ho biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.